I don't buy anything from Dorks, and I'll bet you and your customers don't either. Sales really is a great profession, isn't it? I mean, it's interesting and it's challenging. You get to help people solve their problems. You get to meet lots of people. You might, in your particular sales position, get to travel around the world. There's all these great benefits about the sales profession. And this is why I just don't get it. I don't understand, with all this greatness around the sales profession, why so many sales professionals are dorks. Yes, dorks. That's exactly what I said. Dorks. Now, don't get upset with me and kill me just yet, because I used to be one of these dorky salespeople too. I think you know what I'm talking about. Most salespeople are boring and they're dull. And they have the personality of a melon, and they look like they shop at a secondhand store. And when I just don't get it. Why is that? Why are salespeople so dorky? Well, guess what? I figured it out. I figured out the reason why we have so many salespeople that act like dorks. You see, it took me a while to figure it out, because in my company we have a zero dork policy. We don't allow dorks to work for us, and we definitely don't let dorky salespeople go to our customers. But I did figure it out. I'll tell you why I think most salespeople, really, most of them, act like dorks. There's such a focus in the sales industry to train on product, to train on services, to train on sales process, that we train our salespeople with so much information that it kind of overloads their brain, and they forget that sales is not about products. It's about building a relationship with a customer and being able to communicate effectively. That's really what sales is all about. And I promise you this, and you know this, a customer definitely does not want to work with a salesperson that doesn't know how to build a relationship and doesn't know how to communicate. And they're definitely not going to buy from salespeople that can't do those things, because that's what makes the difference, and that's what's most important. So, of course, the question is, what do we do to get away from this dorkiness, and what can we do to actually be more effective with building relationships and communication? It is a fair question, and it's not so easy, because I remember when I was first in sales, I was a dork just like everybody else. But what I realized is that if I could become free and I could actually be myself, you know what? Not only could I build the relationships more effectively, not only could I communicate more effectively, but my confidence increased dramatically, and I sold a lot more of my customers. So let's take a look at some ways that we can de-dorkify ourselves, and in the process, build better relationships, communicate more effectively, and build our confidence. Number one, just chill out and relax. Did you ever realize how nervous you make your customers feel when you get all nervous and you're all stressed out and you can't say words and you can't... Just chill. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I've never heard of a salesperson getting shot or assassinated by a customer because they screwed up a presentation. Now, of course, it is true you could lose the sale or you could get fired. That's true. But I will tell you this, if you're nervous, your customer definitely is going to be nervous. And one thing that I really believe causes salespeople to become dorkified is they get nervous and stressed out, and what am I going to, and this and that, I don't know what to, just chill, okay? I promise you, you're going to be a lot more effective if you're relaxed, and you're not going to freak everybody out. But John, you don't understand I don't care about your situation, and that's your problem. You're too focused on all the things that are going to happen. And this creates this whole dorkified persona, and this fear causes us not to be effective, and not to communicate well, and not to be able to build relationships. Number two, take off your mask. This is the second problem that salespeople encounter and causes them to become dorkified, and it's kind of based on the first problem of them being all nervous, because that nervousness creates this tension and this stress, and the only way they can deal with it is to put a mask over their face and try to deal with their fear and their nervousness, and they become another person. Now I want you to think about this for just a moment. If you walk into a customer's office and you have on a mask and you're all serious, or maybe you're all happy and giggly, and either kind of mask tells the customer one thing. It tells them you're a liar. I know it's rough, it's harsh, but it's true, because this is John, but when John puts on this mask, then John becomes someone else. Customers, they don't exactly understand why they don't trust you, but they just know they do. And I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons is because we have a mask. Look, just rip it off. Just be yourself. That will give you so much power. Well, John, you don't know me. I'm kind of a dork. No, you're a dork because you have the mask. Just be yourself. Relax. You do the first two things I've told you. I promise you, not only will you become less dorky, but you're going to have a lot more fun in the process, and your customers are going to be able to build a relationship with a real person. Number 3, match the people that you're building relationships with. In the world of selling, there's an enormous amount of information and literature, and there's seminars and audio books and even video about how to match the people that you're working with. It's a really simple concept, and what amazes me is most salespeople still don't understand. For example, I'm with you right now, and I'm watching you as a customer. I'm watching your body motions. I'm listening to your tone, listening to the speed of your voice, and I'm just matching you. Now, of course, I'm not saying to be a mime, and it shouldn't be clownish or like you see Mr. Bean sometimes do on those beautiful little videos he does. But what I'm saying is that, I mean, if you just think about it, if you're with somebody and they talk fast and you talk real slow, you've got a communication problem and a relation problem. Also, if they're sitting very erect and you're kind of slouched down, again, they're not going to feel comfortable. If you match the customer or match the people that you're working with, they're going to feel more comfortable, more at ease, and not only will that help to build a relationship, it'll make communication be so much smoother.
This episode continues next week on Sold. Here's a sneak preview.
2 things are going on here. Number 1, and this is important, you're dying inside. And number 2, you're sharing that death with your customers. I'm a big believer that if we're not constantly growing, we're dying. And if we're dying, that just adds to our overall dorkiness. Look, if you don't have time to enjoy your life, you forget what you're fighting for. And there's something else too. If you dress well, it'll keep you from dressing like all those other dorky salespeople.
Don't miss it.